I'm here to talk to you what it's like to stand next to greatness. And I want to talk to you a little bit about myself, and then I want to talk to you a little bit about a person that I work for named John. And so for me, coming into this and coming into becoming an entrepreneur and coming into becoming a speaker, I had it in my head that greatness was this static state, that greatness was Winston Churchill, and that greatness was Wayne Gretzky. And so Wayne Gretzky in my head was always perfect, always the great one, never had a decline in his career, never had to work and fail to make it into the NHL. People like Churchill, I ignored the fact that there was trouble after the war, trouble before the war. Oh, sorry, I got to talk a little louder. That's the first time I've ever been told that before. So what I come to learn through my own failures and through my own injuries and through my own climb to where I am here, I came to realize that greatness is fleeting. It's only a moment. It's only when you win the Stanley Cup. It's only when you knock out your opponent. And so we have to chase it. And so instead of connecting myself to this idea that I had to be perfect and to this idea that I had to do everything right and all the things that Kevin just told you about, I realized that you can only grab it for a second and then you got to tell everyone about it. Because you can have greatness, but you can't keep carrying it. You got to go for the next one. And the next one, and the next one. And this brings me to my talk about my man, John Davis. John was in a car accident 10 years ago. It was terrible. He went to a party with some friends. He got in a car. No alcohol, no drugs, just a tough night. And he was crushed in a vehicle. It broke his neck, and when they took him to the hospital, they told him that he had severed in his C spine. That's right about here. That means no arms, no legs. A young man looking at a future in a career, future with friends and family. It seemed very grim. This is what the doctors told him. They told him, you'll never move again, you'll never eat again, you'll never talk again. You'll never roll yourself over again. Certainly, they meant that he'll never swim again, walk again, play sports again, ride his bike again. And so, there John laid for 3 years without help. Now, I have to give my thanks to the Canadian healthcare system. I have to give my thanks for the people who did outreach, the physiotherapists who tried their best. But ultimately, John was lying in a bed for 3 years, thinking about his prison sentence. When I met him, he was very doubtful. Now, I was fortunate to have come to meet him in a time when I was very optimistic. I had a feeling that if we can just believe in somebody long enough, it's going to yield something. The only way to fail is to quit. And I promised John at the first meeting that I would not quit, and that I believed that he could overcome this. The reason why is because his mother looked me in the eye and promised me that she felt movement in his hand. I believed her. I asked John if he felt that he could do that. He said that he thought he could, but he wasn't sure. And for weeks, for 3-hour sessions, twice a week, he laid on a bed in his basement, and his workout was trying to move his hand. Until he did. And he held his hand out, and he lifted it off the table. And for the first time, he did his first bicep curl, his first rep. That grew. It became a washer in his hand that he had to lift twice, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times. Then that became a weight. That weight became a cable. That cable became a stack. He started bicep curling. And this is when I realized that greatness is a context. If you were to look at John walking down those stairs, not knowing anything I just told you about what had happened, it's easy to take pity on John, but John is not pitiful. And neither were you when you were hurt. Pity, like greatness, is only worth a moment. So, with this in mind, a new spirit grew from that basement furnace room. We put 5 pounds in his hands. He wanted to try the other arm, the arm that we were told would never work again. And lo and behold, he moved it again. We tried many other things. We went to a pool. I watched him swim. I put a pulley on his legs. I watched him kick his legs. What I've learned through my experience with John is that if we try to commit ourselves to the idea that greatness needs to be something that is constant, it's easy to find the reason to quit. I'm not great. I failed. I'm not great. I had to quit my hockey career because of arthritis. I'm not great. Somebody else knocked me out. But that's where standing next to greatness gives you greatness. You don't have to be perfect. If you bring yourself to other people's greatness, if you bring yourself to MoMondays, you bring yourself to hospitals, you bring yourself to your mother, you bring yourself to your sister, to your friend, you're going to see this greatness that I'm talking about. But you have to look for it. You have to recontextualize it. I learned that you can't put it on a pedestal. You have to look for everyday greatness. The stuff that's served to you on the table because the food is so delicious. The greatness that comes in somebody stepping up to an obstacle that they've never stepped up to before and showing you that this time they're going to do it. I work with a lot of people with disabilities. And through working with John and working with people with disabilities, I've learned that you cannot judge greatness by what you see on Instagram, and you cannot judge greatness by what you find on the internet. You have to go to it and look it in the eye and discover what it's all about. You have to ask questions. You have to be part of it. You have to engage it. If you find yourself in your life looking up and wishing that you could have someone else's greatness, you're always going to be let down. If you can look at yourself in the mirror and see your small, everyday greatness, your talents, and what you're going to bring and put beside somebody in your life, you will find your greatness, I believe. I want to leave you with this. I wanted to keep my message brief. I wanted to keep my message hopeful and inspirational. I want you to go and I want you to look somebody that you love in the eye, and I want you to actually tell them what their greatness is and what it's done for you, how it carries you, how it molded you. And then I want you to take your greatness and I want you to take it and stand it beside someone you don't know, someone who needs it. I'm telling you, there's a homeless problem right now. COVID is bringing people to the street. Poverty is bringing people to the street. Stand beside those people, and you will see their greatness. They will inspire you, and they'll tell you what you need to do. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been my profound pleasure, my profound honor to stand here in front of you and give my message of hope and give my message of greatness to you. Thank you very much. My name is Greg Horton, and I am a motivator.